of the puzzle for us. So for us, in our program, we need to understand the basic and fundamental of cybersecurity. Now, in cybersecurity, one thing we should always remember at the back of our mind is we are always thinking of how do we preserve critical infrastructure of most organizations. Now, at the private level, we do that. At the government level, it's a huge deal. My line of work, I focus mostly on critical infrastructure. So that means your power grid, our sewage network, manufacturing plants that are relevant, nuclear stations, any of those key things that can influence and impact our way of life, we consider them critical infrastructure. So it means, beside the fact that you have to be in compliance with certain critical security controls, we have to come in independently to check also. It's important because it's a national security issue. You guys will agree with me, right? And if you notice, for those of us following the news, you realize a few days ago, a bridge was, was blown up in Crimea. In retaliation, the Russian state federation started destroying certain critical infrastructure in Ukraine, including infrastructure that protects them eating, right? So that's a big deal. Winter is coming, but that's critical for the company itself. So in the US, for example, we spend a lot of time on critical infrastructure. On the private sector side of things, it's extremely important to put a lot of focus also. Let me give you a good example. If you guys follow the news also, last 2 weeks, the state of Israel, a public pool, somebody took over the chlorine system there. Thankfully, no harm was done, but they threatened and said they could have put excessive chlorine in the water, and that could have caused a lot of health issue, right? But the gist of it is, hey, we are watching you. It's a big deal. So I'm saying all this to say, cyber, it's not just, oh, some fancy thing, somebody's hacking me, no, forget that. That's a piece of cake. It's not really it's minor. Then don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, anytime you hear cyber, most of you on this call is because you've been overwhelmed with the word cybersecurity. It's crazy in my head. And I understand because I went through the same thing before I got into this field. In your head, you're just thinking, oh my God, this is crazy. It's some folks hacking, writing some code, Linux, line item. That's nonsense. Now, there are some areas that specialize in that. God bless their heart. The younger generation, enthusiastic folks that want to do stuff. But guess what? Most of the tools out there today, they are huge organizations that you just analyze the result. Microsoft, I'm talking of the likes of Microsoft, Cisco, Oracle. These are huge organizations that they have money. Tenable or Nexus, IBM, they have their too, QRadar, Palo Alto. These are multi-billion-dollar revenue company, right? So it's not like I'm coming to change the way they do business and transform it. No, you're learning their tools. As a matter of fact, let's say, so in your mind, don't overthink it. There are tools already that all these big vendors, they play with. God bless their heart. Let them do their thing. Yours is to analyze and look at the report of those tools. And that's it. So don't overthink it when you hear those words, cyber. So define cybersecurity in simple terms. It's really referred to protecting company data from threats that may occur on the internet most of the time. And most of the internet we talk about, let's make it simple, ladies and gentlemen. If I come to your house today, the first thing I'll probably ask is, hey, brother, sister, do you mind, can you give me your PIN to get into, or your security to get into your network, right? That's fair enough. It's as simple as that. Because if you don't give me access to your network, then I cannot compromise your devices or your data. But guess what? With the mobile device today, you can access your fridge, your TV, our Ring, cameras, whatever, everything we can do on the internet. So it means if any of our system is compromised through the network, everything else is compromised. That's what it means. So it's very important from a cybersecurity point of view that we are constantly, consistently ensuring that cyber threats are constantly focused on. It's so important. Now, one thing I would like to make us smart, I like to make my folks smart every night. Can we all type CIA real quick? Can we type CIA? At least most of us would have heard of CIA. Can we all type CIA real quick? CIA, just can we all type it real quick? Come on, guys, let's go quickly. Now, if you don't learn anything tonight, at least remember I said CIA. That's some fun stuff, guys. CIA is strictly saying confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Let's keep it simple. Confidentiality is fair to look. If you're in a meeting, any conversation, and you say, hey, guys, somebody's talking about CIA, and you tell them, hey, talking about cybersecurity, and you tell them, I think we should focus on confidentiality, integrity, and availability. I'm not kidding you. They will pause and say, okay, this person is a smart cookie, because that's the core of what we do. Confidentiality is saying information kept private and secure. Some of our folks on this call are lawyers, and it's so important because in the legal side of things, privacy is a big deal, right? So they are focused on intellectual property, privacy, IPs, and so that's a big deal for folks in the legal side. Integrity is saying data should not be deleted or modified without the appropriate authorization. Availability is saying our system should be available when it is needed. It's critical in organizations that focus on manufacturing. The guys on plant in your manufacturing, they don't care about what we do. They just want to process their work, right? But guess what? Every plant today, they're using robotics, they are using different devices. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal for those organizations right now, right? So in those cases, for them, it's a very, very significant thing. Their system must be constantly available for them to be able to process their business needs. So a good example would be pharmaceutical, manufacturing drugs for oncology patients, cancer patients, right? In that kind of situation, operation cannot be broken at any point. It has to be available. The implication of not being available means potentially we could lose lives. So it's a big deal. So those are very big deal for us in cybersecurity, okay? Cybersecurity roles, we'll flip through so many things real quick. And now I know because I speak to a lot of my folks. The first thing that confuses everybody is, oh my God, where do we start? It's so many things out there. Relax. The nice thing about starting in the space of GRC is it will expose you to other areas. You can decide to expand, upskill, keep learning as much as you can. Now, one thing you should also remember, if you decide to get into IT or cyber, automatically you become a perpetual learner. There's no shortcut to it. I'm sorry. You have to keep learning. There's application security, vulnerability management, threat intelligence. In simple terms, application is saying our application, what's the security around it? Vulnerability. If there are threats and vulnerabilities identified, who manages it? Threat intelligence. If there are, we have tools that help us analyze those threats. How do we ensure that we have a team monitoring those threats? And there are so many tools that people use to monitor, like Splunk, QRadar, so many tools. Exabeam, security architecture. What's the structure, the architecture of how things flow? What about network security? Incident response. How do we respond if there's an incident? Forensic incident happen. How do we trail and trace it? Data loss prevention. Everyone on this call. That's why at your place of work, don't think you're too smart. If you send email to yourself or you put a flash drive, we can track it. We have DLP tools on your system most times, and we can track it. So don't play smart. People will get it, okay? Because there are tools already that are scanning your network and they can know if you send information or not. And sometimes I remember there was a friend of mine, this person was telling me, well, the person denied they didn't send anything. And they just pulled everything and said, hey, sorry, look, listen. So anyway, they are forensic, they will track everything we do if they want to, okay? So be mindful of it. So what is GRC in simple terms? This diagram you see here is one of the suite diagrams out there. We try to cover everything here. Now, the truth is, of course, you can't know everything. Let me, spoiler alert, you will know enough to do damage, to be confident, to speak intelligent, to execute most of the kind of work you can do. I can bet you in our program, you will be comfortable to execute. Of course, like anything else, we keep learning. There's no end to it. Even at times I feel like a learner because you just keep learning. It's just have that mindset to keep soaking knowledge, keep learning new stuff. But this is the summary of governance, risk, and compliance. We cover the regulation, the key risks, the framework used in the process in cybersecurity in general, the key compliance areas also in general. So this is like a quick high-level summary. Our program, I'll give you the details when we get there in a bit. You'll see the specific breakdown. Governance, let's keep it simple. If there's one takeaway, think about it from a cultural point of view. You might see things like project management governance, data governance, you might hear implementation governance, whatever it is. The main thing about governance is that we are putting a structure in place to provide oversight from a leadership point of view. And when we get to that level, we are talking of cultural change, really. If we're talking of governance, it's the tone from the leadership on how our organization aligns to meet the business goal at the end of the day. So that's so critical for us, right? The risk, of course, we know that there's no 100% risk avert, but at the minimum, we should have provision to constantly monitor, ascertain, manage our risk. Sometimes we would accept the risk, sometimes we would transfer the risk, maybe insurance. So whatever you decide, but at least we constantly reassess and evaluate the risk of our organization. Now, one thing I'll tell you, I'm challenging everybody on this call. This is a leadership role, to be honest with you. Our role is going to be leadership. If you are not a leader, you're making an assumption you're not one. But all of us are leaders, to be honest. So it's just that we will challenge you to say, hey, ladies and gentlemen, let's act it. And what does that mean? It means we'll find ourselves asking questions. But guess what? Because we have a community, most of the time, I bet you can always find somebody that has done what you've done before. I mean, within our community, I can assure you, it will not be perfect, but nobody's a dummy. By the time you see a template of what has been done, we can always figure it out together. So I've never worried about most of our execution because when we get templates, we can always use those templates to align to our own business. Compliance, we all know, it's fair to say most of us have seen GDPR for the European Union countries, right? EU countries. So privacy is a big deal for them also. So at every point in time, you will see things around privacy, GDPR. California is a big deal also because California always have its own style of doing things. They have CCPA in California, New York is coming up with theirs, Washington, Colorado, whatever the policy is. We just want to make sure at the minimum, we have an idea of what the policy is, how it's applicable to those organizations. Now, it's a big deal in cybersecurity, I'm telling you, because for us in cyber, the first thing we think about is what are the reporting requirements? Because if there's a breach within your organization, you need to know who are we reporting to? Is it state level, government? Who are the regulators? I mean, are we going to involve the FBI because it's a malware, ransomware issue? Are we going to report our local authority? Are we going to involve? So you need to know the key stakeholders we need to report any issue to. I was part of a project some years back, and we had to work with the FBI to do forensic, to analyze data and check if any of our intellectual properties were, violated in this particular company. So you need to know who are the main reporting structure within that business at any point in time. So what are we going to cover within our program? So in simple terms, I'll keep it straight to the point. The nice thing that I get excited about personally is at the end of the program, you can find yourself applying to close to 5 different roles, to be honest. And we'll get to that in a bit. So quickly run down. You learn how to develop cybersecurity policies and procedure, mapping framework like 850, NIST 853, ISO 27001, which is more global, risk assessment, third-party risk management, data security assessment, fundamentals of IT general controls, overview of some key regulators out there, third-party risk management. So you find yourself that you would have covered a lot of things that will make you comfortable enough to start potentially applying for those different positions, okay, which is great. I mean, and I've seen a lot of my folks who say, well, I think I'm more comfortable with this topic and I'll probably explore this topic more. And, we can always talk through it. Wherever you find yourself comfortable, just execute. apply, put the time, the discipline, the work. We work a lot, we have fun, but put the work, put the discipline, and good things always come after that. All right. Some general incidents that are out there that some of us must have heard before, but I just thought it was cool to kind of talk a little bit about it. Some big ones that happened some years back, Target retail store. What happened? A third-party vendor came to do maintenance, right? AC maintenance. As a result of that, carelessly, they compromised the network of Target through a third party. But guess what? Who is still liable? Can you guys text me real quick? Let's see. Let's have some fun. Even though it was a third party, who is liable at the end of the day? Can you guys text me? Who is still liable? Thank you. I'm here. I'm seeing Target. Excellent. Yep. So yes, you're right. I mean, a third party came, see that there, but I don't care about the third party. I just want you guys to protect my data. So they exposed the data and record of almost 110 million credit card and debit card. That's a big deal. They were fined almost $19 million. Yeah, you're right. Target reputation was really, can you imagine this happened in 2000 and I believe 13 or so, and we are still talking about it 9 years after. So that's a big deal. So, I don't want to be the poster child for a messed up third party issue. So anytime we talk about third party, Target is always the first poster child for it. Another big one, most of us must have heard about it, Operation Technology. I'm privileged to be the head of delivery in North America of a company that, I focus on the Operation Technology side of things. So that's really my day today, that's my baby there. And it's a big deal because, ransomware was one of the big deal that happened in the United States some years back. And what happened, as a result of that, Colonial Pipeline, it obstructed and disrupted operation of pipeline flow within the United States. It caused a lot of queues at the pipeline, at the gas station, and it was significant loss even to the economy. So this is not a joke. At the end of the day, this minor threat that we think are minor at times potentially would impact a nation, impact a full company. I mean, these are multi-billion-dollar companies, and it's a big deal. So that's what I'm driving at. So, and the annoying thing at times, so to speak, is that many times they come in through the most flimsy of ways. It might be somebody mistakenly clicked an attachment. That's why you see your company constantly doing a phishing campaign, email awareness training for you guys and all of us to make sure we don't click on wrong attachments. And let me tell you the funny thing, it happens a lot, but it's so embarrassing. Nobody wants to talk about it, right? I don't want to tell you that my CEO, clicked an email that or paid 200,000 wrongly, but it happens all the time, every time. It's crazy out there. All right, let's quickly move on. Vulnerability, risk, and threat. Vulnerability is a weakness that can be exploited. This is a big term in cybersecurity, so you see stuff like that. Risk, possibility of something bad happening. Threat, an entry or actor that may exploit a vulnerability. So these are popular terms you guys will, you hear about a lot. General framework, popular one, GDPR, for privacy, HIPAA, all of us know that because we see that in our healthcare. PCI for credit card processing. So those are big deal also. Business continuity is just saying if there is an obstruction or a major global disaster, we have a plan to continue business. Case study for that one, we all agree, COVID, right? So companies that didn't have a business continuity plan were really messed up during COVID. That was significant at that point in time. So we'll skip that a little bit more. These are some examples of framework we use, and don't overthink it. A framework is just a guide on how you should implement cybersecurity control within your organization. So it's a fair statement to say, if you follow this guide, you would have covered some of the key areas of risk within your organization. So it's somebody talked about 2016 election. Yep, I agree. So yep. So 2016 election, when there was some potential hacking, somebody clicked an attachment. Attachment is always the poster child of big vulnerabilities and attack threat vectors for us. So it's a big deal, really. All right, let's get to the meat of it. Frequently asked questions in our program. And this would really address a lot of questions most of you have. I believe so. So I'll be very quick to this so that the last 10 minutes, I would have some of our mentors just talk a little bit. You guys can have a few questions here and there, and we can have fun, really. All right. Is programming required? Let's keep it simple. No, that's an easy one. Do I need to be a US citizen to get into this? It depends. If it's a government job, yes. Most jobs does not require citizenship, but like any other job, you would be required to have authorization to work in the US. Do I have to have an IT technology background to do this? The answer is no. Now, on one condition, the condition is we have a program that is free for fundamentals of IT, and there are so many resources online too, and even on YouTube. Go and learn those basic. Go through the ones we have also. It will give you solid exposure. And in our program, when you enroll, we have a section strictly for the basic fundamental of IT. I think it's fair to say, if you go through that, it will give you some reasonable assurance that you would have covered key areas that would be required. And let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, if you tell me you have no IT background, it's laughable. You know why? Most of you that tell me you have no IT background, I see you take your phone, use it to shut down your network at home when your kids are browsing on their iPad. Use it to shut down the TV. Use it to, you put password. So to be honest, it's laughable. Maybe 15 years ago, you can get away with that statement. Oh, I'm not an IT person. No, all of us are IT now. Don't forget again, everything is now in the cloud, to be honest. There are some companies, I think JC Morgan are one of them, stating in the next 5 years, they want to be 100% cloud. Now, that is insane, but I'm sure they have a business case. Let me give you a real life scenario. I've been in a client environment some years back, and this client environment was supposed to implement an hardware, a hardware, a server that was going to cost close to 40 grand or 50 grand. Now, guess how much the cost would have been deploying the same functionality in the cloud using VMware? Who wants to guess? Let me see somebody who wants to guess real quick. Let me see. 40K would have been what you would have put to do it. Can you guess how much it would have cost using the cloud? Just let's take a wild guess. You would have used 40K if you had used on-prem, meaning buy a server. But if you move it to the, oh, I like that. Lola said 5K. Somebody said 2K. Okay, good. Let's see. 1K, 200. All right, Tony is closer. Believe it or not, it will have cost 300 bucks. 300. Think about it. It's insane. I don't want to think about it really. It's quite embarrassing. It's crazy. So what will have cost? So I'm saying this to say, sometimes the cost of deploying to the cloud is so significantly lower than buying hardware now. Now, who knows the current challenge of hardware anywhere in the world today? The biggest challenge of hardware now is backlog. COVID happened, wait time. If you buy a Cisco device or a Palo Alto, device right now, it's going to be shipping. Yeah, it's going to be probably, most of them is about 180 days to 240 days. It's insane. It's crazy. I don't want to, it's crazy stuff. So it will take a long time to get any of your stuff. Microchips, servers, routers, switches, any of those networking things are taking forever now. Do you help with your resumes? So we provide draft for the resumes, so that's an easy one. Now, of course, I give you draft. My expectation is, listen, folks, we are leaders, so I would expect you to work on your resume too. If I give you a draft, yes, you work on the resume, and I'll tell you our tricks to make sure you're comfortable with it. Every line on your resume, I'll make you put a paragraph there to make you more comfortable about your resume yourself. So that's easy. Do I need to commit a lot of time to be successful? Yes, 1,000 times. There's no shortcut, really. I'll be honest with you guys. Really, there is no shortcut. And I know this because, there's no way around it, man, really. I wish I could tell you can just, like this, nothing would happen. No. I would expect you every day for the next probably 60 days, just put some time, 1 hour at the minimum, just upskill, have fun doing it. Some of my folks, some of them on this call, I love what they do. Every morning they listen to podcasts. You can listen to, you don't have to read, just listen to some, because at the end of the day, you get so comfortable with it. There's a cyber news, and I'm going to send you guys our blog. Everybody on this call, if you don't mind, I'll send you guys the blog and our YouTube page. Please. You know what? Let me just do that right now so that you guys can just have fun doing that real quick. Let me do that right now. That'll be a good way, a segue to that actually. Give me 1 second. Let me make you guys just, it's a good blog, I'll tell you, because we try to put a lot of good content there. So if you have the time, make sure, just play around it and see some of the blog we have. I'm going to send that to the group. Please check that blog out, everybody, real quick. The other thing I'll send to you guys is the YouTube page. Like the page also, if you don't mind. Let me see that. But we have a lot of recordings there that I think that the YouTube. Give me one. Let me get those recordings so that you can. It's so critical because many times I think it makes a lot of sense when if you at least every day just commit to listening to a podcast, a video, just then, okay, I can share it on the WhatsApp group. Yes, I'll do that. Thank you, Kate. Yep, I'll do that too. All right, I'll share it on the WhatsApp group. Okay, let's go. Do I need to commit a lot of time? The answer is yes. That's an easy one. All right, cool. What kind of computer? Because it's going to be online. Windows, Mac is good. So that's some question we get. What job site do I use to apply? For most of us, it's going to be the typical suspect. Indeed, Dice. We recommend LinkedIn Premium for the first 2 months so that you can have, I think the first month is free. Subsequent ones, you can, you can easily have, it's going to be, you just pay for it maybe for a month or two because the recruiters are quite active on that premium. What roles can I search for? This is pretty cool. At the end of the training, honestly, depending on you and areas you focus on, let me tell you the rule of thumb for our team. The rule of thumb for us is simple. If you look at the role and 60% upward of what we have learned in class is in the role, don't care the title, apply. Because a lot of industry, I've seen confusion in the title, people just put a lot of names or whatever. So I'm not going to waste too much time on the title. If you look at the role and the job and it matches with what we've taught in class, then apply. That's the way I do it, Don't waste your time, just apply straight up. So, because most of the things we've covered, of course, we're not going to know everything 100%. No, nobody's going to, even I don't know it 100%. But at least you know that, oh, okay, we've covered this. Oh, I'm comfortable to talk about this. Then just go. Go for it. Apply straight up. Don't waste your time. Do I need to begin my career? Of course, we talked about it before. Just learn the basics of IT. Build your network. Our professionals, other friends, myself, our other mentors, some of them will speak in the next few minutes. Then, of course, that's the key. The key you should always remember is that, like my friend used to say, is on this call, Dolak P. He's one of our great mentors there, my mentor actually. So he will tell me that, hey, I don't need to know it, but I can always tell you, I know where to get the resource to know it. This is as far back as 20-something years ago that we used to say that, which is awesome. And it's still applicable today. Always remember, you don't need to know everything, but you have armies of people around you that we can find resources and eventually be knowledgeable about the specific topic. So I have an open mind to do that. Does it require meetings? The answer is yes. I'll be honest with you guys. If you're on this call, and that's one of the things you see me push a lot during our calls and our meetings, I'll make you use video calls a lot. I will, you'll see my, one of our queen mentor, we call her, she will talk in a bit with, and you see that we're always, it's by design. When you're used to meetings, you see us dress well for meetings because you want to create a good impression. Over time with your team, you can always do whatever you want to do, but it gives you that credibility. You know your stuff, put the work in it, then just have fun doing it. Okay. All right, let's go. Is certification required? Now, for most jobs, especially for leadership, they'll say do some certification, but there are ways around it. What we typically do is there's a certification called GRCP. I think it's easier compared to other certification to pass real quick, and you can have that in your portfolio straight. And if you don't have a certification, that's no big deal. Just put the certification and put bracket in view, meaning you're working towards it. The main thing is know your stuff, know the content, and have fun doing it. It's easier to pass the GRCP certification, I believe. We have some past questions we'll provide for you to take a look at and leverage those past questions also. Class schedule for this program, it's going to kick off October 29th. you can start registering now. A lot of people have registered already, and you would have access to 3 classes immediately. So you can, I expect our team, you would listen to classes before we meet. So you can go ahead and it's recorded for some of our classes before our live session. The live session is focused on lab work. So we go into the details so that you are more engaged in terms of execution and work. Because for me, my focus is execution, what you can do at the end of the day. So I want to put a lot of effort and work on that. The timing is going to be Saturdays, Sundays, and Wednesdays. And it will take us to the last week before Thanksgiving kicks in. So it's going to be 1 month, aggressive 1 month. Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 12, Sunday, 2 to 4 p.m. And Wednesdays are touch point. The Wednesday will just be fun time with touch point. Then we have group time when we work as a group. So it's going to be boot camp style. And, but I'll tell you this, you'll be shocked how much you've learned and you've built your capability and capacity within 1 month. Saturday, Sunday, put the time, treat yourself. No party, okay? Sorry. Keep it clean. Keep it something that you want to just enjoy and have fun for some time. And I think it will be worthwhile. What is the one-time cost? The program is $750. So for a lot of people, and one thing I'll be transparent, a lot of people, I know you've been burnt, people have done trainings, paid 5,000, 10,000, whatever. Our focus is simple. We have a vision to empower a lot of our folks. So it's not like we don't know how to charge 1,000, 10,000, whatever, but it's because we want to make it, get a lot of people in the field that desire to also be leaders. We want our folks to make hiring decisions. It makes us have more impact at the end of the day. So don't go in casually, go into kickers, to go in and be, desire to be the best in what you do. And if you do that, honestly, to show, because people will know when you put the time. Another popular question, is there a payment plan? If you're breaking it down to 2, yes, it's just that it will cost some extra for the charges also. Interesting data, 70% of people that don't begin to apply for a job after a training like this end up not applying at all. So if you finish a training like this, let me tell you one of the frustration most instructors would have. So you're done with the training, it's fair to say you have to start applying, right? You cannot make people apply if they don't apply, right? It's as simple as that. But 80% of those who apply within the first week normally will get multiple interviews, they will get to the final stage, and eventually they always get offered, as long as they're consistent. Now, somebody asked me, are we guaranteed a job? No. Harvard will not guarantee any job. Anyone that guarantees a job is nonsense, really. They are just being unreal to you. However, I know if we put our best in good faith on my side, on your side, we work together, put the work in it, good things always show, right? That I'm confident. A lot of us here have gone through similar model in our careers. We put our best, we put all the work, and good things always show. I know that for a fact. Everybody has their vision and goal. I've never touched anything that I don't rise to be a leader. It will never happen. I don't roll that way. And that's my model. That's my vision for my team. If you are in it, you can as well be in it and go all out in, Don't touch it except maybe you want to just make it a side also, just make money and get out. But if you are in it, then be in it. Kick ass, be the best, push, put the work, let it show, put the work ethic, put the discipline, be a mentor, reach out, and I'll teach you some tricks. Help others to uplift them. People notice, and at the end of the day, they will just know you. They will offer you leadership most times. I can guarantee you. I've seen it has happened to me many times. All right, let's go to the final one. What are people saying? All right, excellent. We have a few minutes. We try to be respectful of time. We have some of our mentors here. If you don't mind, let's see. Is Jonelle here? Is Tiwa, Kate, Queen Kate? If you don't mind, can you raise your hand so I can have the honor of making you talk a little bit and I'll give you access to talk. Let's see. Kate, are you around? Let me see, Kate. Let me see. Let me stop sharing, if you don't mind. Let me find Kate. Kate, do you mind? Can you raise your hand? Or Tiwa? Or okay, yeah, I see your hand. Let me see. Sorry, guys, give me a second. Kate is one of the most hardworking people I can think of. All right, Kate, I just unmuted you, please. Go ahead. And I think you should be able to share. Kate's work ethic is crazy. All right, Kate, I think you should be able to unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thank you,
Hello.
Mr. Kifewa, for the opportunity again. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm Kate Boye, and I'm a GRC professional, GRC manager, my current role. And I will tell you guys that Skillweed brought me here. With Skillweed, I can say that with confidence that I'm a GRC professional. In little time, you will learn so much, and then you have to put a lot of work to it. So it's not gonna be something that you will get that easy unless you're like super brilliant, you're a sponge. But it's continuous studies, continuous improvements, and then just go out there and rock out. So learn as much as you can, take advantage of the opportunity, and Skillweed has a great community. And we're all like families. You come here, you never leave. And there's so much to learn. It's fun, guys. Be the best professional you can. I didn't prepare any scripts particularly for this event, but I tell you, it's something that you will learn as you go along. And as I throw questions to you or give you a task, you can always come back home with your Skillweed to, if you're confused about anything. So you always have the mentors. Mr. Kifewa will be there to support you, and then the rest of us, we got you. So come on, sign up if you haven't.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, sis. Thank you so much.
Sure.
All right.
We can hear you. You're on mute.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. Over to you, Tiwa. Thank you, Kate. Thank you so much, sis.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're on mute.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we can
Can
hear
you
you
hear me
now.
now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to. And can you see me?
Yes.
Yeah, good evening, guys. My name is Tiwa. What can I say? If you're on this call tonight, consider yourself
Lucky.
extremely lucky and privileged. For two reasons. You get into this program, you'll be proud that you did. That's reason number one. Second reason, this program is about building the Nigerian professional community and trying to empower ourselves. So I want to give my friend, my brother, my mentor, Mr. Akinfenwa, big kudos for that, for contributing his quota in doing that, ensuring that Nigerians also step up their games. Having said that, let me come back to the Skillweed program. Kate and I were, I believe, in the same training class. And I believe Kate actually started working before we finished the program.
Yes.
And I got two offers just barely a month after we got off the program. So I hope you know what that means. Having said that, there's a lot to be learned here. And like Mr. Akin already alluded to, there are lots of areas you can decide to veer into, depending on your interest. As you go on in the training, you will discover what catches your interest, because he will be telling you, you could do this, you could do this, you could apply for this role. So let me not preempt that. It will throw that at you at the training. But I'm happy that I was part of the training. I do not regret it, and I believe no one would ever pass through this training and regret. So I encourage you, if you have not already enrolled, get yourself in the program. Great things, great lessons, great classes are ahead. Exciting times are around the corner. And hey, we're building a network of mentorship. That's why Mr. King would always call us and we answer. We are here to mentor. We are here to, render whatever assistance we're able to at any point in time. Like I said, it's not just about, you getting in on this training and becoming a professional. It's also about trying to empower the Nigerian professional community, a cause for which we are also committed to. So I want to give it off to Mr. Akin for bringing this, putting this together.
Tiwa, just to tell you what the community is saying already, that are you accepting all of us, African community, all of us?
We are global.
Global. I mean, when I say Nigeria, I didn't mean to say Nigeria alone. Africa. I mean, Africa. That's it. I mean, I can tell you, in the last 1 or 2 weeks, when I reach out to people for help, the people that I've called in the last at least 1 week to help me do 1 or 2 things, they are not even Nigerians.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
One of them is a Cameroonian, one of them is a Zimbabwean. So what about that? So when I say Nigeria, I mean the African community.
Got it.
And I realize these guys are even more reliable. So I'm just putting everybody together in that bucket when I say Nigeria. So don't misunderstand that. But I said all that to say that this is a great program to be on. I'll be glad to even come to join the program again just for refresher, if Mr. Akin allows, But
absolutely.
I said that to say that it's a continuous learning process for everybody, like you already said. Nobody knows it all. But the important thing is you don't just go through the program, you apply yourself.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to take you up on the offer, and I will say you're going to be part of our data privacy section. Huh?
Why not?
Coming back too.
Why not?
I'm
all for you.
Huh?
Yes, yeah. I'm also coming back. There's so much to learn, so much to.
So I said that to say that even though we're part of the program, we're working, it's a program we still find very helpful, very useful, that we would love to even come back to be part of it again, Absolutely. So and that's why I use the first statement that if you're on this line, consider yourself lucky, consider yourself privileged, because we consider a privilege even to be on this call tonight. So I'm here just to encourage you guys, go for it and come back with your testimonies. Let's celebrate you all together.
Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Tiwa. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Mm.
All right. And let me apologize. I know we are running late. You guys, if you don't mind, just give us like 3 more minutes. We'll try and sneak it out and be done. Let's see. Dean, you had a question. Do you want to type it for us so that we don't take too much time? I just want to address some other questions and we have it. Let me take one question.
Helping you out. It's all hands on deck.
Okay. Thank you, Kate. Somebody said, do we have the curriculum? And I think I shared that already, but let me just share the curriculum real quick so you guys can have a look at it and you can see the curriculum. I think we already shared that, but let me show you real quick. So the program would cover, all right, let's see what else, interesting data. Okay, let me show the curriculum just for maybe you joined a bit late, but let me just share the infographic so that you can see real quick. I'm sure you don't want to see my picture again, but okay. All right. Well, let me show you guys the curriculum we have. So we're going to cover building and developing cybersecurity. We're going to cover mapping framework with NIST 853. And when we cover it, we actually do lab. There's a lot of lab we do assessment. We do real life assessment. We have a list of questions already. We have use cases. Honestly, guys, ladies, it's just a lot of use cases. Your brain will stimulate your brain a lot. I mean, let me just give you a clue what you find yourself doing. Let me quickly show you guys something real quick so that you can see some cheat sheet we put together to kind of give you an idea of how crazy. But it's a good, so we build scenarios for every one of our cases, for example. So for example, you take the building cybersecurity policy, we have use cases for it, scenarios, we have mapping of NIST framework. And Kate, Tiwa, we didn't have this during our time. We just built this one. We have different scenarios. So every one of these scenarios in interviews, you can start using it. So it identifies the situation, the task, the action, the result. So it covers a lot of stuff, folks. Let's take one more question. I'll be out of here. We try to respect time. All right, and please, apology if I did not get to your question. I promise I would look at the question and post it to the larger group. Can residents of the other country join the program? If you're a resident, of course, like any other thing, you can join any program you want from anywhere. But the challenge, if you are not based in the US or Canada or UK, the knowledge is great, but if it's not used in your local community, sometimes it leads to frustration. You can't maximize your God-given potential at times. So I'll make you make that decision. Text me one-on-one, we can talk about it. Hopefully our goal is if we build a solid community, we have people in leadership that can eventually work with our, brothers in other part of the world, and we can, be the ones to give projects like that out. Yes, we are recording it. What else? Yes, you need to be authorized to work. All right, that's all we have for today. Thank you so much, everybody. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. Let's have the privilege to work together. I'll be excited to be your mentor and have fun together. God bless. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Tiwa. You guys are awesome. And thanks, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Dolly P, thanks. Everybody else, thank you. And feel free, please go ahead and register. The link is there already. We'll talk more. Thank you, everybody.